I'm Manuel Pastor. I'm director of the Equity Research Institute, the research center like Prince, formerly known as something else. That is, we originally started as the Program for Environmental and Regional Equity, the Center for the Study of Immigrant Integration. And as time went on, we realized that we had the same staff working on the same social justice issues. And just a couple of years ago, we rebranded with the name Equity Research Institute and the consigna or slogan, Data and Analysis to Power Social Change. Well, welcome to our Quince. We're really glad to have spent 15 years together doing this work. When we started, we were smaller. We started with only 3.5 people. Doesn't mean that that person was half a person, but half a staff member. And what has been interesting is we started with this idea that we were going to do the new 3 Rs, Rigor, Relevance, and Reach. High quality academic work, relevant to public policy concerns, with a reach to the affected public. But as time went on, our mission really shifted and became clearer that what we were about was being in solidarity with and service to the evolution of an intersectoral, intersectional, multiracial movement for social justice in Los Angeles, California, and the United States. And as that became clearer and clearer, the threads of our work, which once seemed disparate, became much more interwoven. Our work on climate justice, which helped produce an environmental justice screening tool and eventually became the prototype for cow and virus screen. Our dedication at putting data in the service of activists, which became the National Equity Atlas, the Bay Area Equity Atlas, and the California Immigrant Data Portal. And our work with movement organizations led us to also turn our lens on asking the question, how do these organizations build power and change policy over time? And that's become a lot of our movement building work. It's been a very exciting evolution. So really the most meaningful thing is when someone comes up to us and says, I see myself in your data. You know, that's happened on many different occasions. The one that's been the most heartfelt has been from our work. Musa Issa's came the book South Central Trains, which, by the way, is the only academic book I know that came with its own rap video. But that book, which chronicles Black-brown organizing in South Los Angeles, the demographic transformation of South Central, a place that is close to us where we work and close to our hearts in terms of the people and of the fantastic example of community organizing. To have a young person from that neighborhood come up and say, gosh, my story had never been told, and you told my story and I saw myself. That is so meaningful. When an immigrant comes up and says, wow, I looked at California Immigrant Data Portal and the data is actually really useful, we can use it in our work. When people see themselves, it's incredibly powerful. The other thing that's incredibly powerful is when people use our work to see the commons, to not just see themselves, but to see that they have issues and challenges and dreams that are intersected with other neighborhoods, other communities, other states, other parts of our globe. And when people then use that to actually make policy change, we were a small part of helping to bring health insurance to undocumented Californians. We played a role in the evolution of cow and virus screen and the ability of getting resources out to communities through the Transformative Climate Communities Program. So many people have used our work to lobby for justice issues in their own communities. The story of California and its exemplary community organizing, social movement building, portrayed in State of Resistance, now recognized all over the United States. We played a small role in lots of policy changes that have made a big difference in people's lives. Well, if we go another 15 years, we'll be able to have a doble 15, celebrate 30 years with our allies and friends who've been such an important part of this journey. We hope that we will continue to be in solidarity with and of service to people as they pursue policy change. We hope that we will be able to facilitate economic justice, environmental justice, racial justice, social justice as we move forward in the form of policy change. And we certainly hope that we will contribute to the evolution of a more powerful narrative that helps people find the commons, understand why solidarity is the way we need to build movements, but also the way we need to build our economy, the way we need to address our climate issues, the way we need to include everyone. But I think we also, in the next 15 years, are setting our sights on what we call the fourth pillar. You don't really need to know about the other three pillars, but the fourth pillar is about how do we do field building and institutional transformation? How do we deepen the bench of scholars and young researchers who are interested in community-engaged research and interested in the kind of work we do? How do we help build a better field in terms of providing resources and training to people who are doing community organizing, helping people work in community-based organizations make better use of data, and actually help build the field of people who are looking at the issues of movement building so it becomes a much more legitimate and recognized field in the academy. And that's our third goal. It's not modest. We want to transform the academy so it's actually relevant to people's lives, so that community-engaged research gets lifted up as the highest possible goal of academic research, and so that institutions like USC are seen as being allies and not obstacles to the kind of change, the kind of Los Angeles, the kind of California, the kind of America we want to build together.